I'm going to be researching, I guess, climate change for an environmental science class.
Okay.
So first, I would go to the KSU library base just to find what I need. I would go by keyword climate change, and since it's going to give me a lot, I'm going to go with what's it searches here. I'm going to limit it to scholarly journals, and I'm going to limit it also to full text because it helps me limit down what I can look at.
All right. Scholarly journals. And what
Hmm
else?
Full text.
Full text.
And since it gives me 4 million result or 5 million results, I'm gonna try to limit it down maybe to like a specific category like climate change in U.S. and then see what I get. Say that like cut it down in half, and I could go by state as well if I needed to.
Why was the KSU library the first place that you chose to look?
Just because I know that it's easier to find more reliable sources in here. I can go on Google, but it just take me a while digging through pages. When here, I can just scroll through tons and tons of articles, especially when I can select if they're scholarly or
Okay.
not. Like it still gives me 2 million results, but I can limit it down by using more specific keywords. So if I wanted to go climate change in Georgia, maybe, or if I did like climate change past 20 years, something like that.
Okay.
So this leads me to 258,000. Let's see if this works. And that gives me down to 13,000. Not everything is incredibly specific, but it is good enough to where I can dig through and find a few reliable sources that I need. Um, Probably limit down a bit more. Or no, extend it. Yeah. Um, that's what I usually do just to do research. It's just to go on here and search whatever I need, and if it's too many things, just try to be more and more specific based on the topic.
All right. So will you choose? So from the
Mm-hmm.
results that you saw, would
Yeah.
you select any of those links?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any specific reasons why you would select a particular link?
Um, well, I looked at the title. It described what I wanted. But I need to make sure that I might want to look up maybe the author's names just to see if they're credible or not. I want to make sure I can get the full access to the file.
Okay.
In this case, it's not on here. I've been doing that a little bit lately, or a couple of them I've looked at. I think it's just the case with library. Um, let's see. Let's see what this one's about. So in this case, George is actually the name of one of the authors.
Okay.
So maybe this is not exactly what I want, but still. Just go back and run through these again. And then if it's not really anything I want, I can just back up maybe to US to give me a bit more general studies.
Okay. So if you find a source that you're interested in using, what will determine whether or not you save that particular article for you to use it later on in your research?
Well, if it provides a sufficient information, maybe for what I'm looking for, because I usually what I will do is I'll maybe put down a few questions, or if the teacher gives us a little sheet, we can go, hey, I need this, and this, and this source, or I can put a couple together and say these sources answer these questions for me.
Okay.
I need to make sure they're credible. That's one of the first. So I do the scholarly journals, and as well as I look up the authors' names sometimes. It's a bit a bit lazy in that way. And since some of these are politics, maybe I'll go. I think you can do this. I took this. I think you can go, and that limits it. Yeah, it's when you do minus politics, it takes out politics from there, so you don't have anything like on debates on whether or not climate change is happening or anything with the president or anything like that with how he's dealing with it.
All right, so let's say you find the link, the source that you want to use, you like the information that you found.
hmm
What will you do to keep up with the information, like as far as being able to reference it later on when you do start
Um,
compiling
since
results?
I usually do it online, maybe I'll like save the file and just make like a little folder that's titled like something related to the research. Or sometimes maybe I'll write it down or do both, just to make sure I keep a full record um, of what I'm looking at,
Okay,
because I don't want to lose any good sources.
right.
You have
So
to go back and find it again.
right. So then, speaking of sources, how do you keep with your sources? You just link them back to that file, and that's it.
Yeah, because you can download the PDFs for the full text in a library database, so you can save them. It's easier just to shift through them like that.
Okay. And once again, you told me that sometimes you change your search topics based on number of results.
Yeah, like if it's really broad and I'm not really seeing anything that are things that are too specific, you might want to just, use words that are a bit more related to your specific like area of that broad topic.
Okay, so then what happens if you go to the KSU library and you don't find anything, any sources or reliable sources that you may want to use for your research
If
project?
I
Then
don't
what?
find them there, I guess I would go on Google and just kind of like shift around, see what I can find, or maybe use some of the authors' names. Um, Also, a great tip that my English teacher told me in Comp 1102 was you can actually go on Wikipedia and go to the sources used for that Wikipedia article, and they are usually very credible. You can use those. You have to back check those as well just to make sure, but because usually those Wikipedia articles have like a few like 60 something sources that go
Okay,
into them, so you can find good ones there as well.
all right.
Yeah.
So, is there any other information you would like to share in regards to your researching skills or progress, classes that you've taken that may have helped prepare you better to be research?
Comp 1101 and Comp 1102, and do you want the no professor name? Okay, yeah. And that'd be about it.
What about your high school classes? Do you think any of those courses were applicable to the
Um,
research that you've done?
I didn't take any high school courses,
Okay.
so yeah, I took them all here. So Comp 1101, 1102 are my English courses.
Okay. And another thing, do you ever use any of the resources available at KSU, such as the Writing Center or Ask a Librarian?
Sometimes I might use Ask a Librarian just to, if I have like an issue, if I'm not limiting my search results enough, any keywords I can use or any specific places you can direct me. And usually I just use this little box right here to
And type
type in it
in.
and they respond.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we really appreciate your help and thank you very